When is the next update going to drop? Well, Frank actually answered this over on Twitter as well, and this is what he said. Hey everyone, what's happening? Lex back today for another Brawl Stars video, and today we are going to be going over what I think could be coming in the next update. Now, I've got a whole list of stuff, things from what I think we're going to get, some things I think we're not going to be getting, as well as some things that the Brawl Stars team is considering for the future, so we may get it or we may not. Now, I would just like to say that none of this is inside information. Mainly. I say mainly because Kairos, myself, Trickshot, who is a subreddit moderator, and Danny, one of the community managers in Brawl Stars, just recorded a video on a community roundtable where Reddit asked a bunch of questions and we answered them. We just basically grilled Danny for over an hour, we did. And so that video is getting edited. That's a huge thing that we're trying to compress down into something watchable for you guys. But in this video, Danny straight up gives us something that's going to be in the next update. You're not going to want to miss that video because it is really spicy. So be sure to turn on notifications and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be one of the very first ones to find out what's actually coming in the next update. Now, with that being said, let's get one thing out of the way right now. One thing that I know we're not going to be getting either right now or probably in the future, and that is a new experience road. So currently we get experience for playing, and that experience does nothing for us. So the question is, are we ever going to get an actual experience road or something, to go along with our experience? And while I'm never going to say never, it doesn't look good because over on Twitter, somebody asked Frank that question and he just straight up said no. So if you're looking for an experience road, yeah, you're not going to get it. But what you are going to get is a sweet segue to today's sponsor, OnePlus. Now, with most things in life, you get what you pay for, but OnePlus has a 5G phone whose value far outweighs its price. The Nord N10 5G is an incredible phone for even more incredible price of just $299. Now, unlike some other phones in this range, you get some really awesome features with the N10. Things like a quad camera setup for really nice pictures. It's also got a long-lasting 4300 milliamp battery with fast charging, and yeah, you get a power adapter with the phone. The N10 even has that smooth 90 Hz refresh rate display, which is something that you don't even see in some phones costing $1,100 or even more. Yeah. So if you're looking for a great phone that won't destroy your budget but still give you the things that you do need, well then you might want to check out the N10 5G. The link is in the description. Big thanks to OnePlus for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go over some of the things that I think we will be getting either in this update or very, very soon. The first one is something that is probably decently obvious, but since Frank basically confirmed it on Twitter, we're going to talk about it, and that is animated pins for the rest of the brawlers, including all of the chromatic ones and the special ones as well. Somebody asked Frank that question, and he said yes with a bro fist. So yes, we will be getting more animated pins, and I fully expect to be more animated pins in this coming update. Brawl Talk going to drop? I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. Another thing that I have no doubt that we will be getting, and that is some balance changes. Now, there's quite a few brawlers in the meta right now that are pretty offensive. I mean, they're like really, really strong. We're looking at brawlers like Amber. Jessie, I still think is pretty strong, although I don't know if they'll nerf her again because they just did. Other things that are like B's Honeycoat gadget. This gadget is something that Frank directly addressed. He likened it to playing against 8-bit star power is always really annoying. You feel like you've done a good job, you've won, and then, oh no, you didn't win, just joking. So they're looking at it right now to see if they need to be able to do like a full rework on it or just completely change it, remove it, give her something else, or if they can save it at this point. So B's Honeycoat gadget is in a very precarious position right now, and I would not be surprised to see it completely removed. Another thing that I think that we will be getting in this update is some new game modes for the map maker. Currently, we do not have Siege or Hot Zone in the map maker. Not only would be a lot of fun, but it would also expand the competition map pools. So that's something that I would definitely look forward in this update. Another thing that I think we could be getting here is some more quality of life features, such as the club trophy limit. Right now it's currently capped at 25, so if you're a higher ranked up club, you could be getting just spammed with all sorts of invites all the time, and maybe they're too low for your requirements of your club, but you can't raise it more than 25,000, and this is something that Frank also confirmed over on Twitter. Somebody asked him, and with the translation, it asked the question, can we get something higher than 25,000? And Frank said that yes, that it is on the to-do list already. Also coming in this update, I wouldn't be surprised if we got some more true silver and true gold skins. We didn't get any last update, and so I think maybe in this update, which I expect to be a little bit smaller update, this is something that is probably decently easy for them to add, so it'd be a little bit more of a value add to the update without a ton of extra work. So true silver, true gold skins, I wouldn't be surprised to see those coming in this next update as well. But I think the biggest thing that we're getting in this update is going to be a brand new brawler. Now, lots of people have been speculating that it's going to be Kit, and I get that because there's a lot of clues, you know, like not only the last Brawl Talk, they totally referenced her, but also on some of the artwork that had like, where is Kit on the walls of the buildings there. I think that it's a fair assumption to think that that's something that they may put into a game at some point, and there's actually more information on that in the interview with Danny, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. You can just wait for that. But I don't think it's going to be Kit. I do not think that Kit is going to be the next brawler. The brawler I think that we will be getting is something completely different, something that we really don't see any clues for in game right now. Let me give you my idea. Brawl Stars is, of course, an amusement park. And in amusement parks, there's always different rides and attractions and different things that you can do. One thing that you almost always see in these big amusement parks is something like a stunt show or an action show. Sometimes it'll be like a Wild West shootout. I've seen them before where they'll have like cowboys, you know, falling off of buildings and shooting, and it's a fun time. It's kind of almost like a little play, but with like action in it. Also, I've seen ones with like big water world stunts shows, and then like car racing or motorcycles and ATVs jumping over ramps, going crazy loops and stuff like that. Anyways, a stunt show. You always see some sort of action show at these amusement parks. And currently in Brawl Stars, we don't have anything like that. So my idea, and something that I think Brawl Stars will definitely tap into, if not this update very soon, or at least in the future, is something like a stuntman, kind of like an action stuntman. My first original thought was a very famous stuntman named Evel Knievel. Now, Evel Knievel did some really crazy stuff, like, you know, jumping over the Grand Canyon, all kinds of crazy things, and probably broke almost every bone in his body at some point in his life. And I think something like that would be very cool if they had a brawler with just tons of flair and, you know, just a sense of dramatic action, big moments kind of thing. That would be really, really cool. However, also part of me always thinks that Brawl Stars loves robots. I don't know exactly what his name would be, or if it would be a her. Maybe it's a stunt woman, stunt person. Who knows what a name would be, but my idea was that it was a robot, like stuntman action person that shot like almost like little miniature rockets or something out of like a robotic wrist shooter, kind of like Gold Mecha Bow or the Mecha Bow skins, something like that. That would be pretty cool, and I could see that really going. And I would think that he would be like on some sort of tires or wheels or something, because you see a lot of car stunts and a lot of motorcycle stunts, and so doing something like that, maybe with a super that you could even like launch yourself over a wall, because he's a stuntman, he's going to jump over a wall. That would be pretty cool. So a robotic stuntman that can shoot rockets and jump over walls, something like that. That would be really cool, and that's my prediction for the next brawler that's going to be coming into Brawl Stars. However, if I'm wrong, which I probably will be, then maybe future down the line, you guys just remember this video. If it ever happens in the future, you'll be like, oh yeah, Lex predicted that one 7 years ago. He finally got it right. So those are the things that I think we will be getting, or at least have a really good chance of getting in this next update. Now, there are some other things that Frank has talked about that maybe I don't think are going to be in this update, or maybe not even ever, but it's definitely on Brawl Stars' radar, and it's something that they've been looking at. So let's talk about those real quick. So the first one I think that is definitely in play, not for this update, but maybe this year, is a complete power play rework slash maybe even addition. Maybe they keep power play and they add this whole new system, because it's been no surprise. They've talked about in the past that power play was not doing exactly what they originally had intended it to do. They wanted it to be like a league system, and it just hasn't worked out as well as they might have hoped in that scenario. However, I think that adding a whole new actual league system, and I have some examples here that are from the Twitter user Pedro. He created some really cool graphical representations of what this may look like, so I'll show you some of those here, but it's very much based upon like a kind of like a League of Legends kind of system, where let's say you're in bronze tier, and whenever you go into a match, you can fight somebody from maybe, you know, a couple tiers below you and a couple tiers above you, and if you win, well, you'll accumulate points and you'll move up through the system. And a league that works like that, his idea would be like, you know, a best of 5 little mini series. You could ban brawlers in short amounts of time, and I think that would be a really, really cool feature to add to Brawl Stars. Probably takes quite a bit of work, so if they haven't started on yet, it may take them a year to make something like this, but I think that it's something that's on the radar and would be added sometime in the future of Brawl Stars. Now, speaking of things that haven't worked out quite the way Supercell had envisioned them is the looking for team feature. This is something that I think a lot of players really wanted, or at least vocally players wanted, and Brawl Stars implemented it. And it turns out not very many people use it. So I think that this is something they would either look to completely rework or try to implement it in a different way, or just completely cut it altogether. In fact, Banana Lolly on Twitter was asking Frank basically this question. So wanted to know if you would add some quests that would, incentivize people to use the looking for team feature. And Frank basically said, hey, if the feature was working the way we had originally envisioned it to, we wouldn't need any quests to kind of push people in that direction. It'd be so good that they would be using it. So I don't think that the looking for team feature has worked out quite like they had hoped, and I would not be surprised at all to see it either completely removed or totally reworked. Speaking of the looking for team feature, Frank put out a tweet right around the championship challenge that basically took everybody who won the championship challenge and showed whether they were playing solo in using the looking for team feature or if they were in a pre-made team, and what percentage of them actually won. 10% of the people who won the challenge did it by themselves, just with randoms. 10% did it using the looking for team feature, and 80% of the people won in a pre-made team. Like I always tell you guys on those videos, go in with the team. Please don't play with random. Which is an interesting tweet, but if we scroll to the bottom below that, somebody was asking Frank about using like a in-game voice feature. I've always been a little bit sketchy on, like, I think that it would be a really good feature, but you would have to implement it very smartly. But Frank did confirm that the idea of having an in-game voice has not been completely ruled out. So it's possible that in the future, they may implement a in-game voice feature. So then, when is Brawl Talk? When is the next update going to drop? Well, Frank actually answered this over on Twitter as well. Somebody asked him, when's Brawl Talk? And he just straight up told you 2021. Promise. No, so in the last Brawl Talk, they mentioned, we'll see you in February or March, or maybe February or something along those lines. So here we are at the end of February and still no word on when update/Brawl Talk is coming. So it's looking more like into March. But if they were hoping to get maybe in February, but maybe in March means the end of February, maybe early part of March. We don't have any confirmation of any of that yet, but I would be targeting, like the first week of March, maybe into the second week of March, somewhere right around there is when I think we'd be getting all the stuff that I have talked about in today's video. So then, of all the things that I talked about, which do you think is the most likely to make it in-game in this update? Let me know in the comments down below, or, just in general, what do you wish for? What would you like to see either in this update or in Brawl Stars' future? Something really cool. Again, be sure to stay tuned for the big community roundtable discussion with Danny, where he goes over a lot of stuff and tells us a lot of really amazing information, not only about the update, but also just Brawl Stars in general. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out. Boom, boom, chicka da boom, chicka wacka boom, boom, chicka da boom, boom. Hey.